Hey everybody, it's Michelle LaVore and
Devin LaVore coming at you.
So,
from a new place.
Yeah, from a new place. We
43.
moved into a different place today. And but it's been so good. God is just so amazing. I mean,
can't really come up with a word.
Yeah, I think just the other night, I think it was last night, I was just saying, I'm just astounded by the Lord and just the details of just
the precision.
Yeah,
just
of Him and just how He's involved. I mean, we had listened to a video, the Dr. Patricia show. She was prophesying, or she was sharing what God had shared with her. Just
on
about
May 16th.
some of the things happening for the United States and a couple of other countries,
Israel and North Korea,
and
all that.
And it was just like, wow, it pulled me back to be like, look at what God's doing on this huge scale, but then look at what He does in our individual lives.
Yeah.
Just in our family, everything that He does with me and with Devin and each of our kids. I mean, and you just sit there and you're just in awe and astounded by God and just who He is.
Yeah.
And
well, it's like God's doing all this work in the White House, but He's also doing all this work in North Korea
mm-hmm.
and in the United States in general. But then He's got a plan for Idaho.
Yeah.
And then, like, at this very moment, He's, like, doing what He can do to miraculously procure bread for some people in Honduras so that they can eat tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. It's just like He knows all of it.
Yeah.
And it's just like when you sit and think about that for a moment, your brain just...
It's like
short circuits.
Wow.
And
you truly, all you can do is be, I think last night, that's all I could say is like, I am astounded.
Amazed.
I'm so amazed by the Lord. And
May 19th, if we can backtrack a little bit, May 19th was a day like that for us. The last video. September 19th, my bad. I'm still stuck on May 16th when Dr. Patricia got the word. She just released it, but anyway, but September 19th, because that was like we were at our 42nd place and we were getting 42s like crazy, and Job 42 was a thing for us, and particularly Job 42:11, we feel like that day was like a sign.
Yeah.
For us of just all the support we got on that day. It was just like, God was like, it's more than just the support you're getting.
Yeah.
I'm giving you a sign of what's getting ready to take place.
Yeah.
Of what's coming. And it's just like, I mean, we literally went from nothing to like, wow, astounding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just like, I was like, wow, that really is a night and day. We went from like, you guys saw the video where we were hurt, but we were like, okay, we're going to get up from this. That's not even a question.
Mm-hmm.
We know God's in this. We know He's got a plan. Man, little did we know how detailed the plan was. It was just like, wow, this was totally all a part of your plan. He was like, yeah, I told you that.
Yes.
Just like when I told my disciples, hey, James, John, Peter, don't tell anybody about this transfiguration until after I'm raised from the dead. And it's like, they told him, right? He told him right there, like, I am going to die, and then I'm going to come back, but that would require death first.
Yeah.
And they probably didn't process that. You know what I mean?
Or even understand fully what He meant. They just know, okay, we can't say anything.
And that's totally God in our life, right?
Yeah. And I think that's honestly, it's been so cool just to see how God has... I think for me, even today, given more revelation about what's been going on in these last few days, and how it's just like, actually, I think somebody even emailed us about Joshua chapter 5 and like the circumcision and as once they crossed over into the promised land, and we had actually been
there was pain.
There was pain.
The first thing that they experienced was pain because of the circumcision. Yeah, I don't know if that was a comment or an email.
Yeah. And
it kind of hit us.
Yeah,
like,
it really did, because we've actually really been looking at that and
yeah,
even
like before we even got that email
and
or whatever.
in Joshua and all of that. And I feel like tonight there was just even more revelation to that, because it really was kind of a circumcision of the heart again, coming, leaving the embassy suites and then going back to the Baymont Inn, and it was just like, whoa, there's so much. There was pain involved, but then ultimately it was again just saying, hey, you know what, Lord, it's whatever you're doing, and there was a humbling there.
Yeah.
And
humbling. It's a word. The act of being humbled.
Yes. And but just seeing how God is just like, all right, again, I'm trying to really show you guys through even where I take you, what I'm doing in your life.
It was crazy.
And so then
God actually took us to a place to speak to us and share with us stuff.
Well,
and it's like, wow.
Well, and I
that's
think
amazing.
Too, in some of our other videos, we kind of talked about it, but I really believe, like, the Embassy Suites, the first place we stayed in, I felt like it was just a picture where God's like, hey, I want you to look and see. This is the promised land. This is the land that I'm taking you into. Very much like, Moses or even Joshua, they would have been up high, elevated, looking out, and literally that's what we were doing, and then it's like, all right, now we're going down, and I'm telling you, hey, you guys have crossed over, and so that was our 41st place, and then it's like coming.
Yeah, that 40th place had a nice view.
Yeah,
man, it was a good view.
and then it's like, then we go to the Baymont Inn, which is very much like, I feel it was that arriving. It really was like an arriving.
It was
like that. You finished crossing over.
It really was.
Now you've arrived. You're encamped where you're supposed to be.
All right, now let's do some circumcision.
Yeah, yeah, very much.
It's like, oh.
But then there really was that the 19th was really just it was a rest day, but it was also just a great and joyous celebration of just like, wow, we are actually here.
This is like actually tangibly manifest. There's finally some manifestation in this manifestation story playlist.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Kind of.
But again, it's just this sense of like, all right, the Lord is moving here. And we really did, honestly, the 19th really into the 20th, and just continuing on of just this sense, it was different. Very different in the spirit.
Oh, yeah, it was.
And very much like...
You hate to use words like shift.
Yeah.
But that's like literally the best word to use. There was a complete turn, like, okay, we're going this way.
Yeah.
And I want you to be super focused on going this way.
Yeah, it's very much... I know this has been used a ton, but it's very much like with birth. You get to this
cliche
point,
alert.
I know.
No, I'm just kidding.
But you get to a point in birth where you were so laser focused on giving birth that you can't put your energy or time into anything else.
Yeah.
And really, I feel like God's kind of been bringing us into this moment of where it's just like, hey, I'm telling you, like, get ready. There is this thing going on where, I'm having you really focused on just listening to God and kind of just seeing what is it that He's asking us to do in the praying. And it's a very intense focus. And and it's just continued. It's kind of just has continued to build. And it's just been so interesting because we're now in our 43rd place. And before we got here, we both knew the number 43 can mean contention.
Well, can I say something else
go ahead.
before you go on to the contention part? Because as we were beginning to get this focus thing, the Lord was like, I was like, ooh, I really sense this. So, I'm just going to get mega focused. And God was like, hold on. I'm not saying go monastic on me.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying, Devin. Because I think we can do that.
Yeah.
A lot of times we feel like we sense what the Lord's doing, so we take it to an extreme right away. And it's just like, no, don't. Don't.
Yeah.
It's just I want you to be aware.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want you to just, you know, tra-la-la through life and, hey, let's go to Chick-fil-A today, or let's go to the mall and just walk around the mall today, or let's get, because God was like, that's not what's going on right now.
Yeah.
It's not about just hanging out until.
Yeah.
It's like you are past the until at this point. So now you got to be like on your P's and Q's right now and just be like, you're not wandering through the wilderness anymore.
No.
I don't care what it looks like. You're not.
Yeah.
And so this is a different thing going on right now, and I need you to be aware. That's all he was really trying to, and I want you to be focused on where we're going, because it's just like, it's like
he's like, we're on a mission right now.
Yeah.
And that's really the sense. It's like, we're here. I'm saying I'm taking you into the promised land.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to take possession of the promises, but there is like, for me, it came out in I had this sense of like marching, like having marching orders, like
God's going to be marching us toward our
marching forward. So when you're marching, you're moving. There's this constant movement, and you're not stopping to smell the roses. You're not You're not doing any of those things that
because
maybe
those
you would
things
do
are all
if you were
bad. No, they're
it's
not
just,
bad. It's
if
just
you were on a walk
in
and
that moment.
it's just hey, let's go on a little nature hike. Of course, you're doing all those things. But if you have, hey, we're going from this point to this point, there is just a focus.
Yeah.
And so, so when we were getting ready to come here, we both knew that the number 43 means contention. And so in a way, we were both kind of like, oh, great.
Well, I experienced it first.
Yeah, you did.
And the Lord was like, stop it. He was like, don't go there, please.
Yeah, in your mind, because you start thinking, oh, great, we're going to have to fight. There's going to be an intense battle.
Yeah.
Like, what is going to go on? And it was very much like, God's like, no. Just
He's like, don't do it,
not,
man. Don't
that's
do
not what
it.
I'm saying.
And I did go there a little bit, and then the Lord was like, see, this is exactly what I was trying to prevent.
Yeah.
It's like this. I don't want you going there. And he's like, see how you getting your fists up in your heart, and you're ready to. He's like, I don't want you to do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh okay, but contention is like fighting and stuff, and you know how I get. When it comes to a fight, man, when it comes to fight or flight, it's fight to my detriment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But eventually I just let it go.
Yeah.
I think we both did.
We both did,
really just let it go.
I had that, it was just kind of this like...
You're not going to figure God out.
You're not, and it was just kind of, for me personally, it was creating anxiety, and then that's when I realized, I was like, okay, no, this is not from the Lord, and so just had to give it to the Lord.
Yeah.
And so we got here today, and first of all, this particular room is significantly smaller.
Oh my gosh, it's tiny.
It's tiny. Like, literally,
it's like
there's
mega
just
tiny.
like this
Look at,
little...
There's all of our stuff.
Yeah. So there's there's basically this...
That's the bathroom back there.
Walkway.
That's the door.
And
there's two beds.
Yeah.
And then
and so it's like that's
the window's like literally right here.
Yeah.
Right there. I can reach out my hand and touch it. I'm like, wow, this is
it's so small. Like,
this is the record.
Yeah,
for
the
the smallest place we've ever stayed.
But even we got here, and there was just it was just this almost within like an hour or two of being here, it was like we just really felt like God was like, ooh, let's pray. And so we were praying, and
I felt it before we even came to this place. I was like, there's something different about God's just saying, like, put off your normal business stuff for now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying stop doing it and get in the fast mode or anything like that. I'm just saying stop doing that. But don't even think about that right now.
Yeah.
Stay focused on what's going on right now, where I'm having you go and all that. And then when we got here, it was just like, man, I really feel like we need to pray.
Yeah. It was pray. So we did.
Prayer and worship.
Yeah. Very much praise and worship and prayer. And then even tonight for our God time, I had picked out a few songs, and then I was just like, okay, didn't really know where to go because lately we had been doing a lot with like the super book, and so I was like, okay, well maybe we could do some clips. I don't know. So I picked out some, but then we started, and we were worshiping, and I don't know. I was just like, man, I feel like we just need to pray again. Mm-hmm. And so we just went into prayer, and it was during that time like God just really showed me. He reminded me of in Joshua chapter 5. It's near the end of it. How he was after the Passover feast. Then it said Joshua was near Jericho, and basically the Lord comes, and he has a sword drawn, but he didn't know who it was. But he's just like, "Are you a friend or are you a foe?" And he's like, "I'm neither. I'm the commander of the Lord's army." And
he's like, are you for us or against us?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, whose side are you on is really what he was asking.
Yeah.
Because, we know the Lord is our friend and he's for us. But in the context there is like, whose side are you on?
Yeah.
Ours or theirs? He's like, I'm not on anybody's side.
Yeah, I'm with the Lord.
Whose side are you on? Are you on my side? That's the question.
And so then he realized, whoa, it's the Lord, and it was just like, here, remove your sandals because you're standing on holy ground.
Yeah.
And immediately I was just like, wow, this is what God is saying to us. He's like,
that's exactly what
here Joshua is. He really thought he was ready to fight. Because he's like, hey, are you, whose side are you on? Because I'm ready to take you down if you're not on my side, basically.
Yeah.
And so it was this situation where he was thinking, oh, there's going to be contention, and instead he goes and he gets to meet with the Lord, and it was just
exactly what we thought.
Yeah.
You're like, well, there's going to be contention.
And it was like, here God is saying, no, I want to meet with you. And I really felt, I was telling the kids, I'm like, how this room, it's small and we're really close together now. Mm-hmm. And it was like, that is what I feel like God is saying right now in this time. He just wants us to just come. He wants to hold us close to himself, kind of like this. And he just wants to be close to us and just,
whisper to our hearts
in that place of just prayer and worship. And it was so awesome tonight. The prayers that came out tonight, it was just like
from our kiddos.
Yeah, I mean,
we're just like, yes, I love it when you guys pray like that.
Yes.
Like those were some good prayers.
Yeah.
They weren't just mechanical. Like
they were just really
Lord
coming
bless
out of the
us
heart.
And da 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 da. It's just like, okay, that's cool. Because the kids, a lot of times they tend to say the same stuff over and over and over.
Yeah.
But tonight it was not that.
No, it was just like, this is what's coming out. And it was like, yes, this is what God is saying. He wants to just meet us here. And so it was really a really awesome time, I felt like, tonight, about just...
And I knew it was going to be good because Elia, our 5-year-old, he was the first one to raise his hand.
He's like,
can I pray? And I was like, okay, this is going to be good.
Yeah, because normally his thing is like, I don't have anything.
Yeah.
I don't have anything.
Well, he's just being honest. He's like, I don't have anything.
I got nothing. It's like, we're like, well, can you just say some thank yous? Like, can you... and you give him a lot of prompting, or you just help him pray. But tonight,
he probably feels like he's just making stuff up, and he doesn't want to. Yeah, I don't want to make stuff up.
Yeah, but tonight he was just like, "Oh, pick me," and I was like, "Yes, of course."
Oh man, he prayed some awesome stuff.
Yeah. And so it's been really really cool, and I was even feeling this earlier in the week, just an acceleration of the Lord. And again, like, I still just believe that that's there in the spirit. Like, there's just an acceleration and really that marching and that drive going to the promise, going towards fulfilling the promise. And that's really like where we're at, is like saying, okay, Lord, like, that is the direction you are sending us.
Yeah.
And, which even goes to what you got just the other day you were like, well, Lord, I think did we record that?
What?
Yeah, we did, about the reward. Because you got it while we were
while we were recording, yeah.
Yeah, while we were recording. Yeah. And of just that reward, that's what's coming next. And it's like, God is...
And that's why joy is what's coming next, like the word you got. Mm-hmm. Because when you get a reward, no one gets a big reward and goes, oh, gee, thanks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No. And, and it was so awesome for... in the earlier prayer time that we had.
This afternoon when we first got here.
Yeah. Because
that was awesome.
It was so awesome. God,
Spirit of God was heavy.
Yeah, it was.
See, sometimes he can be heavy. Today he was heavy. Okay.
And so we were reading actually Isaiah 61 at the time, and which was just, for me personally, it was just such a huge. It really was just kind of like God was using that time to minister and to me. I was just like, this is awesome.
I mean, it was amazing.
It was awesome. But one of the things that God shared was he gave this picture of like having a crown of thorns on my head, and it was being removed and replaced with a crown. A crown of life. A crown of life. And
kingdom life.
Yeah, kingdom life. Yeah. And so for me, it was just, I was praying more into it later on tonight, and I really just felt like God was saying, like, hey, I'm showing you what is being done, what I've done over this whole course, and a crown of thorns, Jesus wore that going into death, basically, and there's pain and suffering associated with it, and I just really felt like God's like, that's the old, and I'm taking all of that off, the pain, suffering, martyrdom, all of these things that really have been trying to keep you and tying you down and taking you down to death, and I've replaced it with a crown of life, and a crown full of joy, and just like a completely new way of thinking, and I was just like, wow, I'm still just processing through it all.
Yeah.
But it was just, for me, this great picture of this is the old, and because you were saying even in the vision, it was this really kind of old looking crown, like crown of thorns.
Yeah.
And
yeah, even as I'm thinking about it right now, or I'm just like processing it with you, even while we're doing this video, I realized that those thorns, that crown of thorns, it's like it was made of metal. It was made of like an iron. It's like it was really, really old. It wasn't rusty, but you could just tell it was made by something it wasn't like wood. It didn't come from, I was just thinking about that. I was like, wow. That's what I was seeing. It was made of like a metal, like an old brown, rusty colored, metal. And I'm like, that's why it's like, it's just been on you for like a long time.
Bronze, or kind of like a bronze color kind of thing.
Just kind of like just brownish.
Yeah. But again, it's kind of, though, it's that, it kind of really honestly goes into that whole Isaiah 61, where it's like God's breaking off the bonds.
Yeah.
And taking those things off that have been around you, have been just bringing pain and suffering and shame and just so much. And it's like, I felt like God just like, that's gone. How you used to define your life is over. And now I've given you this crown because I've redefined your life. And therefore you can go forward, and I'm going forward as a daughter of the King. And he's the one who's speaking everything over my life.
Yeah, because yesterday, because yesterday was just a rest day. That was really the rest day. The 19th, we did the video, and we were doing other things. But yesterday was kind of our rest day, which is why we didn't put out a video. But then today was just been so different.
Yeah.
It's been so different. It started out good, but then there was two contentious situations that we had to deal with and all that. And it was just like, oh my gosh. I was like, Lord, I gave up the idea of knowing what you're doing and not trying to attach anything to it. But man, it sure is starting out with some contentious elements. You know what I mean? And there was some stuff that I knew was like, okay, that like one of our Uber drivers that brought us here, I knew like how he was going to act and what he was going to do and how he was going to behave. And sure enough, as we went on from A to B, I just knew everything happened the way I knew it was going to happen. And so I'm like, what is going on? And it's just been so different. But I had a major breakthrough this morning. Major. Mm-hmm. That's for another time. And then you had yours.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, this is what God is doing. It's just like, it's just been so different today.
Yeah.
I spent like 30 minutes telling my kids my salvation story.
Yeah, and that was so awesome.
Like I had never.
So cool.
God just hit me, and he just like, I just get inspired, you know, to just start talking. And
do you really need to be inspired?
I waited. I was like, I'm just gonna wait because I could tell something's gonna come out. I opened the door for that one, didn't I? But he did. He inspired me. I'm like, and in the midst of it, in the back of my mind, I'm going, wow. I'm like literally telling my kids my testimony.
Yeah, it was
like I've told it to him before, but this was like anointed.
Yeah,
it was like God was like, I want you. It was like he was making me say this stuff and how I got saved and all this stuff going around. Because he kept saying to me, he's like, are you going to share it? Are you going to share the whole story? Are you going to tell all the details?
Mm-hmm.
And they were just like, wow, that happened to you? And they were like, you used to do that? Because I was telling them about a little bit of my sinful life. I was like, I was 22 and a half. I did not know the Lord. I knew nothing about the Lord.
Yeah.
And they're like, you did that? Oh, man. And you can just see my daughter was like, wow, I don't know what to think about you now. But that's kind of where we've been.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like where we came into this thinking it was going to be a place of contention, but then God was like, no, just follow me. Let me show you. And it turned out to be a place, a meeting place.
Yeah.
A place of his presence.
Mm-hmm.
A place of just getting closer with him and caring about nothing else.
Yeah.
Caring about nothing else. And it's like, I mean, there's some stuff we could continue to share and get into about other stuff that wasn't working right and going weird, and it's just like, why is that? And it's just like, you know what? I'm not going to allow this to pull me away from what God is doing and saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just, so that's just kind of where we've been.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that God's been doing and all that, and what we feel like God's doing. And it's like, man, this is like the meeting time with the Lord, and we're excited because we're going to be here again all day tomorrow and all night. And it's just like, we're excited to see what God's going to do. Yeah. We're not going to throw any of our own ideas into it of what's going to happen next or anything like that. We've got some ideas, but we're just letting them lie.
Yeah.
And we're just like, you know, we're not going to go with that, you know, because it's like, you know, you're going to get married. You know what I mean? You know that. But it's like, okay, let's not focus on getting married and all the details about getting married, because we already know that that's going to happen. We know the stuff, as you guys do as well, of the stuff that God's getting ready to do in our lives. At some point, we're going to have to hold the promise in our hands, and we're going to be like, oh my gosh, we're in the house. Oh my gosh, we're living the life. We already know that. Okay, put that on the shelf. Let's walk this process out. Kind of like when we met, God gave us that word of wisdom right away. He was like, okay, you're getting married. That's awesome. Don't think about that.
Yeah. Just
why? Because you know the day's coming.
And you're going to miss out on what the Lord is doing, you know. It's like,
and you're going to have that destination mindset
versus the journeying mindset. It's like, you know, when we were actually talking about this tonight, how it's like, you know, we're so glad that things are not rushed.
Yeah.
Because It's like, what are we in a
at
rush?
The end, we're like, we don't need to rush.
This is awesome.
At the beginning, we're like, how long, oh Lord? For the 89th time.
Yeah.
How long, oh Lord?
But it's like, I don't know, it's just because you see just the satisfaction that you have with the Lord every single day. I mean,
how he really does have it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got this. He really does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's just like, I don't know, it's like, what are you rushing to get to? I think a lot of times we can be rushing because you grow impatient, or there is pain involved with where you're at, and it can be difficult to walk through. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's like, well, when you're going through the difficulty, it is that time where God is just molding and building you and all of that. And it's like, when you walk out on the other side, you'll think, wow, I'm so glad that I went through that. And it's like, it really is very difficult when you're in it, because that's what you end up focusing on. Mm-hmm. But it's like, just know, like, there is another side. There is the other side. God's not going to just leave you in a place to just leave you in a place, because that's not who he is. And,
okay.
What?
So I want to share something. I'm sitting here, I'm listening to you, mm-hmm. but I'm also having a conversation with the Lord.
You're amazing.
Could you tell?
Yeah.
And I just feel like the Lord told me that there is somebody watching right now, and you've been going through a tormenting battle of the mind to the degree where you feel like, I am going to lose this, and I'm going to get sucked under, mm-hmm. and I'm going to, and you're afraid of what's going to happen, mm-hmm. when that happens, when you lose, when you get, and you've been crying out to God, you've been praying, you've been seeking, all of that, but it's like, I feel like I'm just going to lose because I can't take this anymore. I just feel like the Lord is saying, I am releasing you of that right now. Like, right now. God is stepping in as your victorious Lord and Savior and friend and deliverer, and he is releasing you of that tormenting battle right now. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to embellish and fluff it up.
Amen.
I do. I just see that there's someone, I mean, they are demonically, basically, being tormented by the devil. And it's not from God. But it's like, that's what the Lord's saying, He's like, I'm freeing you of that right now.
Amen.
So,
amen.
I mean, you can give us feedback on that or not. It's up to you and the Lord,
Yeah.
It is really between you and the Lord. You don't have to give feedback to the messenger. Mm-hmm. You don't. Yeah. So I'm done.
Well, amen to that.
I'm hanging up now.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, just while you were saying that, God was just filling me with his download, and I just saw this person. I mean, they were in some torment. Like, I can't take this anymore. I don't necessarily, like, they're going to go crazy or anything like that, but it was just like, they were tormented, and they were like, I'm done. And it's like they didn't want to be done. They didn't want to stop fighting. They wanted to be there for the Lord and stand and all that, but they're like, this is too strong for me. The enemy is too strong for me. And God's like, well, he's not too strong for me. Mm-hmm. So watch this.
Wow. So I wanted to go ahead and read from Isaiah 61. And because God really, this is who he is and what he does in our lives. And so it says, Isaiah 61, I'm just going to read verses 1 through 3.
Yeah.
And it says, "The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord has anointed and qualified me to preach the gospel of good tidings to the meek, the poor, and afflicted. He has sent me to bind up and heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the physical and spiritual captives.
Come on now.
And the opening of the prison and of the eyes to those who are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord, the year of his favor, and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn, to grant consolation and joy to those who mourn in Zion, to give them an ornament, a garland, or a diadem of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, the garment expressive of praise instead of a heavy, burdened, and failing spirit,
Come on.
that they may be called oaks of righteousness, lofty, strong, and magnificent, distinguished for uprightness, justice, and right standing with God, the planting of the Lord, that he may be glorified."
Sounds like a reversing to me.
A huge reversing. And it's like, so I just want to say, like, this is the year of his favor.
Yes.
This is a time and a season of the favor of the Lord. And he is here.
Yes,
he is ready
Come on now.
to heal the brokenhearted. He is ready to break off chains of bondage. And he is ready to comfort all who mourn. I believe there is a lot of people who have been in mourning.
Oh, yeah.
You have been in just these mourning clothes because of just what's going on in your life.
The sackcloth of the soul.
Yes, very much so. And God is here to bring comfort to you. And I believe that he is also here to replace your mourning garments with the garments of just praise.
Praise the Lord.
So that you won't be in a spirit of heaviness anymore. But you will be rejoicing.
Yes.
And you will be standing before the throne of God and just being lifted up. You will be able to lift up your heads once again. I just believe that I see just a lot of you, you're able to stand up. It's like because of the mourning and just the heaviness of your spirit, you're just like bent over and you're just so grieved. But God is saying, I'm here and I'm ready to place on you those garments of praise, and you're going to rise up and you're going to stand up. And you're going to just be confident in who the Lord has said that you are. And you will have the oil of joy. You will have just his praise, and you will no longer have a failing spirit. You'll no longer be burdened.
Yeah.
And you will be called an oak of righteousness. You will be strong and firmly planted. And God is going to receive all of the glory. And I just say that this is the time. This is, because of what Jesus did on the cross. It is from the time he died, it's been, and he rose again, we are in that year of the Lord, the year of the Lord's favor. Yeah. We have the favor of the Lord because of what Jesus did on the cross. And it's just that there is I just believe that this is a time and where God is coming and he is saying, I'm going to show you that you have my favor. I'm going to bring healing to your bodies. I am going to bring freedom in your life in areas that you didn't even know that you needed freedom from. It's like, I'm going to just come in and just break things off. Yeah. That you didn't even know about.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come in and I'm even going to heal. I'm going to heal, physically heal your body, places you have never even asked me to heal. And I'm going to come in, and I'm going to come in and set you free from your bondages. And I just believe that He's going to be healing people. I don't even know if you know that you needed healing. And God's going to come in and He's going to heal your body. I know that sounds weird, and maybe you don't know that you need healing for things, but it's like He's going to come in and He is going to bring healing, and He's going to bring healing to places that you wouldn't have even asked for. I believe that God's going to bring healing to people's eyes, just that they can see clearly. You'll no longer need glasses. It's like you'll just be able to see. And not only is He's going to heal your eyes in the physical, so that you know what you can do in the natural, in the spiritual. Yeah. Like you'll be able to see in the spirit so clearly. Yeah. But He's going to give you the physical sign of what He's doing to you in the spirit, and that's your eyes are going to be healed. Wow. You're going to be able to see clearly. You'll have 20/20 vision naturally that maybe you've never had your entire life. And He's going to be showing people physical signs for what He's giving you in the spirit. Yeah. So we just say yes and amen to everything that you're doing, God, and that you are just awesome and amazing. So, did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
No, man. I'm trying to keep it together. I'm serious. I'm just like, wow. Just praise the Lord. You know, this is amazing. Like, God is just doing some amazing stuff right now, you know, and it's like, just when you think the meeting place is just between you and God, God's like, oh no, we're going to bring the people in. Yes. We're going to bring in some of the subscribers as well, you know, because it's like, time. Exactly. It's the people of God, you know, you a people, and you a people, and you a people. Yeah. And it's like, wow, I'm just astounded. It's hard for me to talk sometimes when the Lord is like this, when He's just moving like this, you know? Yeah. It's just awesome.
So I just want to encourage you all as well that to really just to be aware. I'm not saying to get rid of anything, or I just feel like God's saying, like, I want you to be, just heighten your awareness that God is, He is moving. I'm just reminded of, like, in the Chronicles of Narnia, where they say Aslan is on the move. And so there is just, you can see it. You know, the snow's melting. The people are gathering. And I just feel like God's saying, like, hey, I am on the move. And so be aware that things are changing. There is going to be a reversing, where it's no longer going to be winter, but it's going to be spring, and it's going to be summer. And that there is just the change and the shift is coming. And with that comes the miraculous, and comes the fulfillment of promises. And so just wake yourself up to hey, Lord, I'm ready. You know, if it, you know, just listening to the Lord and just really putting out your, I guess, like antennas, or like just heighten the awareness of your spirit to His movement and what He's doing, whether it's, hey, whoa, I really feel like maybe this is a time for me to just enter into worship and praise with the Lord, or, okay, God, I think God's asking me to pray, and just start praying, and you know, just things like that. And so that's what I would just encourage you guys. Again, I would totally encourage you to read through Isaiah 61. It's amazing chapter. Yeah. And I really think that's all we have for you. And I just pray that you guys are truly encouraged and blessed of the Lord. And so with that, do you have anything else?
No, I'm good, man.
We will see you again very soon.
Yeah. God bless you guys.
Yeah, we love you all.
Thank you so much for the support.
Yeah.
And the comments, and just, man, this is different.
Yeah.
This is so different. Love you guys.
All right. See you later.